Greetings, Cap fans. Welcome to episode 286 of the Captain America Comic Book Fans Podcast. I am your host. I go by Rick Verbanis. I got a co host. He goes by Bob Lucius. Oh, Bob, I've been thinking. It's like people had a choice a long time ago between having all them nice things or freedom. Of course, they chose comfort.
I'm drawing a blank. You got me this time.
Well, Bob, that's a quote from a movie.
All right.
And it was an extremely popular movie of
RoboCop.
1970.
Oh no. Okay.
So close, so close. Rollerball,
Yeah. James Caan.
1975. Yes.
Maud Adams. James Caan. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So why am I greeting you with a James Caan quote?
Well, we are covering Captain America and the Falcon, number 196 tonight, Rick. And it does have a roller ball type uh feel to this story.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I
So
think I think
yeah.
it's called Kill Derby.
Kill Derby. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Yeah. And this came out in the beginning of 1976, so it was written in 1975. And
Yeah.
let me tell you, Bob, it was all the rage during that time.
Mm.
The here are some just, some movies that came out. So
Mhm.
1972, there was The Unholy Rollers.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Also in 1972, Kansas City Bomber, which is
Raquel Welch.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah.
Also in
It's
19,
she was the hottest thing on wheels, Rick.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
1975, there was Roller Derby Queens.
Nice.
It was,
Yeah.
but the big one was Rollerball in 1975.
Yeah.
That grossed,
Yeah.
I think, 30 million or something like that.
Wow.
So,
That's big.
yeah,
Big
yeah,
movie.
yeah. And do you remember the movie poster?
I don't off the top of my head. No.
Okay, so it's like this a man's face with a helmet and it's got
Uh-huh.
spikes coming out of it and
Uh-huh.
then looks like a glove with all these spikes on it
Yeah.
and it says in the not too distant future
Oh, nice.
war will be long past but there will be rollerball.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was man, that was I watched that movie several times in the 80s on like
Yeah.
Cinemax and Showtime and all those cable channels I used to get for free with the piece of aluminum foil.
Yeah, bound chicken bound
I
bound.
would stick under
Mhm.
the but there was a remake of Rollerball in 2002. Did you know that? I have to admit I never saw that one. But I wanted to because it had Rebecca Romaine in it.
Ah.
There's the Marvel connection, right?
Yeah, little
Right?
2002, yeah, little hand rocks cradle.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. So, yeah. So, and LL Cool J.
I think back then I used to call her Rebecca De Boing.
Oh my goodness. So, yes. Classic movies. There was a lot of movies like that. But when did Death Race come out? Remember that one with John Carradine?
Mm,
Wasn't that like in the early 70s or something like that? It had a lot
yeah,
of like
it was a
death
big
related
deal. But
death related
I mean, that's
sports.
that's the thing though. It's a big deal. So Jack Kirby decided to bring it into Captain America. Why not?
Well, it's Marvel, it's the world outside your window, I guess,
Hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
you betcha.
Um, but I do want to talk about this is episode 286. And 286 and Captain America have a special place in my heart because Captain America 286 was beginning of Deathlock Lives.
Hmm.
And the reason, and that was 1983, the reason it has a special place in my heart because it's the earliest Captain America comic that I recall buying with my own money.
Okay.
And I have been buying it monthly ever since.
Wow. They
So
hooked you.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a big story at the time. And they actually had retailer posters
Yeah.
and retailer flyers that they had out there. And of course, just the whole nostalgia thing. I had to hunt those down. So I have,
Right.
matter of fact, if you look closely enough, see this little black and white,
I see
right?
it. Yeah.
That's the retailer poster for 286, and it says a four-part epic beginning in Captain America 286. And then they had some full color flyers as well. Um,
Nice.
so yeah, so when I saw 286, I was like, oh, that was that was a great story. Deathlock lives.
Hmm.
Speaking of great stories, Bob,
Mm.
we are in the middle of our March Cap Madness bracket, and this year it is your favorite Captain America stories of all time. Today, if you're listening on the day this comes out, today we kick off round two, which is the Sweet 16.
Sweet 16. All right. Well, how are we doing, Rick?
I have no idea, Bob. We're that's in the future.
That is in the future. Yes.
We have in our world,
Yeah.
we haven't even put out the seating yet, let
Right.
alone day
Yes.
one
Yes.
voting. So I have no idea.
It's the
Uh,
magic
yeah,
of streaming.
I think what it is, it's Captain America. It's a Deathlock Lives going up against Capwolf,
Oh, yeah, there it is right there.
right? I don't know. I have no
Right.
idea.
Yeah. Who it could
I
be
doubt
anything.
Capwolf made it past round one,
Yeah.
but
It's sad,
I
sad
could
but
be.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. How far do you think Deathlock Lives will go?
I don't know.
Because I'm biased.
Yeah, I think you're biased, and I think a lot of folks like that story, but I don't think it's gonna make it like in the top 8 or anything.
Okay.
Just don't. Uh,
Do you think it made it past round one?
I think it did. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it did. Yeah, because it's got a combination. Right, it's a good action story, but it's also kind of fun with the time travel, and he's just such a cool character.
Yeah. And I love
So
how DeMatteis did the internal monologue
mhm,
with the clone,
right, yeah,
arguing with Pewter,
right.
and uh, that made it fun too. I was,
So it's a lot of creativity, right?
mhm.
It's a creative story. So I think that will carry it a long way.
Okay.
So
Speaking of what's going on, and by the way, if you're not familiar with the bracket, it's because you're not in our Facebook group. And shame on you. You need to join the Facebook group. It is an oasis from all the negativity out there. And, just join. I mean, God, but I'm so tired, Bob, of declining people because they don't agree to group rules or answer
yeah,
questions. It's so
yeah.
simple. But anyway, do that and then join the group. And Bob, I did something a few days ago. So, we record on Tuesday nights and
We do
Saturday night, all day Saturday, I was I was out of sorts.
a blue funk.
I was in the funk.
Yeah,
I even said that to my wife at dinner.
yeah.
And I got a lot going on at work, so I think my my tank's a little low from that
Hmm.
because I'm just
Yeah,
mentally exhausted from my new role. But I'm also mentally exhausted from what's going on in the world, right?
right.
And
Yeah.
politics and things like
Hmm.
that. And as I'm laying in bed Saturday night and I'm doom scrolling, and I'm going through, and my algorithms have all been updated with
Oh, they
you
got you
know
now.
political stuff,
Yeah.
and all it does is just get my blood pressure up. And I was like, okay, I need to take a break from it. Now here's the thing, it's a fine line in my mind that you want to be informed
Yeah.
and you want to do what you can,
Yeah.
and whatever that is. um but on the other hand, you don't want to be overwhelmed by it. Now I was getting overwhelmed by
Yeah.
it, because I'm a firm believer that bad things happen when good people do nothing. Right.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I don't want to ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist, but I also want to take care of myself. So
Yeah.
what I did was on Sunday I said I'm not going to go on Facebook
Hmm.
outside of our group because our group,
Mm.
there's no politics, there's no
Right.
negativity. It
Right.
is absolutely an oasis. So
Yeah.
I just did that, and I felt so much better on Sunday. I
Yeah.
did it again on Monday, and I did it again today.
Nice.
I got to tell you, it's nice.
Good for you. Good for you. You got to do what you got to do, man. And, you got to take care of yourself because, you don't take care of yourself. You can't take care of anybody else.
It's
That's how
true.
it works, right? So whether it's family or friends or work or, the world or whatever, right? So self-care is vitally important. And, and I gotta tell you, I've been teaching for 6 years now, Rick, and that is something that young people have taught me.
Mm.
And they catch a lot of guff for it, the younger generations that
Mm-hmm.
they're very mentally health focused and self care, and but God bless them. They
Mm-hmm.
sort of wore off of me, and you got to recognize that every now and again. And so I think they've got it right.
Mm-hmm.
That if you can't take care of yourself, you're not taking care of business or anything else. So
That's true. That's
yeah,
true. That's why the airlines tell you put the mask on yourself first before you put it on your
there it
child.
is. There it is. I found a solution to the algorithm, Rick. I just every time my feed gets populated with I read a lot of
Mm-hmm.
news
Mm-hmm.
things, stuff like that, a lot of politics, and I just report things, for strange reasons like
Mm.
nudity, obscenity, animal murders, and somehow it messes up the algorithm. I haven't seen anything in like 2 weeks, so
You haven't seen any nudity or
no, you haven't
animal?
seen any of that or news for that
Hmm.
matter. So at least on Facebook, doesn't
Yeah.
stop me from going to news aggregators and news sites and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
I mean, you can click on the group thing and just see your groups. And as long
Yeah,
as you're following, like most of my groups are
yeah,
about comic books or comic book art. So
yeah,
that's fine. I'm not,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
generally, I mean,
Although
it's
folks try
zero.
to slip stuff in there, don't they?
Uh, well, some of the negativity comes through and people are
Because
like, "This sucks,"
yeah,
whatever.
right, yeah,
So I can get away with that. But
yeah,
but the last 3 days, what I've really been doing is I just been going into my mentions and like
yeah,
seeing like so and so commented or so and so said this, and I'm like,
yeah,
okay, I'll check that out.
right.
Because usually it's you know on something I did or whatever. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah.
I thought you were going to say before you said you were feeling a little bit of a funk, and I thought you were going to say the best solution to that is to go out and buy something really, really expensive for yourself.
I did. I did last week.
That as
Um,
well.
Yeah, I am not going to say anything about it until I
No,
have
you're
it in
not.
my hands.
All right. Fair enough.
Because so many things can happen between now and then.
Sure. Yeah.
But
Right. Don't want to
I
jinx it.
did win something at auction, and it was my one big ticket item for the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait to share it with the group on Facebook and show everybody this new piece of art that I got because I am tickled pink.
Yes.
I'm on a high when it comes to this particular piece. But once I got it in hand,
Mm-hmm.
I'll mention it here on the
Excellent.
show as well.
All right. We all look forward to it.
All right, Bob. Should we get to today's comic?
Probably should. Probably
Okay.
should. Yeah.
So this is part 4 of the Mad Bomb story by Jack Kirby. And for those who maybe missed the earlier parts, could we do this as our long tail story of this year? So
Mm-hmm.
we are doing this the second week of every month. So if you go back and to get the other parts, you'll see that in January, part 1, that was episode 274, part 2, 278, and then part 3, 282. So make sure you check those out before you listen to the rest of this episode. But I think you're all playing along at home. So we could probably just jump into it.
Yeah. All right.
Bob, what's the cover like?
Oh, the cover, Rick. I do love this cover, except for one thing, which I'll mention in a minute. So it is, it's we're at the Captain America and the Falcon title here with Cap and Falcon on each side of the title, but down below, taking up what a good probably 3/4 of this page, we see what looks and you hit on it with the intro, it looks almost like a roller derby, a rollerball roller derby. Except in this case, we see Cap riding what looks to be a skateboard. So they're not on roller skates here. They are on skateboards, and he's being pursued by these armored goons carrying all manner of weapons. Looks to be some maces and some axes and some handguns. And they're in hot pursuit with Falcon flying over his left shoulder. But Cap's not wielding his shield. There's somebody in front of him who has his shield
Mm.
and is firing a handgun back at him. And around them, we see a crowd up in the bleachers observing this action on the roller floor. So it's really is a pretty cool cover. Now, the one thing I really I can't stop seeing it once I've noted it in my mind was Cap. Now, Cap is drawn, typical Kirby, beautifully rendered. He's got his left fist up clenched and his right
Hmm.
fist sort of cocked back a little bit. But his head looks like it's just put on the body. Look at it, Rick. Tell me it doesn't look like that. It just looked like it's sort of pasted on the body.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, now I can't not see it every time I look at this.
Yeah, I mean, I could see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? It looks like there
Yeah.
could be a little spring on it and it would wobble a little bit if you hit it.
He's ducking. He's ducking
Yeah, all
because they're
right. I
firing a
know.
gun at him and he's
But
dodging
his head should
bullets.
be tilted forward. If like his neck was bent down to duck, like you would think his forehead would be, anyway, in the plane. But in any
Hmm.
case, it's a gorgeous cover. And it says on the cover, the rules, anything goes. The stakes, Cap's captured shield. The game, kill Derby.
If you take out the LLDE, do you know what it spells?
Kirby with an
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, it's fun seeing you mouth the word letters there. Yeah, the other thing too that's really huge on this cover, Bob. This is really, really important. You ready for this?
Yes, I know where you're going.
Uh, Jack Kirby's got his own little Cap and Falcon logo up at the top.
He does. He does. Yes. And something's missing.
Red Wing.
Yeah.
Ah!
Poor Red Wing.
It's all right. This is Captain America and the Falcon, not Captain America, Falcon, and Red Ring. So it's all right. We're good.
Yep. All right. What?
Um, all right. So the creators, I love this because when you open this up on the opening splash, it says editor, writer, artist Jack Kirby. My mind could be playing tricks on me. I really don't remember if this was how it was before, but he put editor first. And that's interesting to me that
Mm-hmm.
he's listing editor before writing and doing the art because it seems
Yeah.
to me editing is the last thing that he does as opposed to writing and drawing it. Um, Inked and lettered by D. Bruce Barry. So that is interesting. Um, and then I think John Costanza has also got some credits on fan fandom. They say that. Janice Cohen is the colorist, and then consulting editor is Marv Wolfman. Do you know who Marv Wolfman is?
I don't know him personally. No.
Have you? Do you?
Oh, yeah. Of course, I've
No.
heard of Marv. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a famous writer and editor, but he's probably most well known for is creating with George Perez the new Teen Titans.
There you have it. Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
that's a few years after this.
Yeah.
All right, so we get to the opening splash, and it is a one gigantic panel, and it's Captain America in the background with a couple of soldiers that are all over him, and then a soldier in the foreground that is being knocked backwards, like he's spinning, like he got hit and he's turning around. And you see Cap nailed him with his shield, and pieces of his helmet are coming off. And Bob, how would you describe what these guys are wearing? And they're not soldiers. I said soldiers, but
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, they are. It's hard to describe because it's Kirby, right? And so it's a combination of some sort of undergarment that, in this case, it's purple, but they've got various pieces of armor strapped to their body. So the aforementioned helmet that looks almost like an armored chef hat, and then armored that goes from like mid thigh down to these heavy metal boots and iron gauntlets with metal gloves and breastplate and a loin plate as well, covering up their sensitive nethers. So they are, but even the armor is bedazzled with rivets and studs and
Hmm.
it's, I mean, it's Kirby, right?
Listeners, I just want to say, I hope you feel like it was quite the treat as much as I did to hear Bob say sensitive nethers.
Yeah, well, I'm sensitive to my nethers, Rick. So,
A new society hidden like a dagger and sharpened for a death blow at the heart of the United States grows and thrives beneath the Western Badlands, hideous in fact as well as concept. The new society is a place of cruelty and cultism. Now read,
Kill Derby!
stop him, stop him. Who entered this madman in the Derby? He won't obey the rules. And Cap, as I mentioned, nails one of these guys. And we turn the page, and oh my, this is fantastic. And I'm sensing a running theme with Jack Kirby and Mad Bomb. It feels like there's like a double page splash on pages 2 and 3.
Yeah,
Every issue it almost
every
feels like,
issue.
right?
Right, yeah.
And this one does not disappoint. It is quite impressive when you open this up. It's Cap, who has about 8 of these guys around him, and they're pulling back on his shoulders, they're holding back his arms, they're coming at him, and he's pushing one away in the face. Another one has this long pole with a headgear that he's trying to put on top of Cap's head, almost like an animal trainer does, by
Yeah,
putting a
right.
collar on somebody.
Yeah.
Which that alone, I think, is just an amazing idea that Kirby had here. Because I don't know about you, but with that whole similarity of trying to put a some sort of harness or collar on an animal with a dangerous animal with a long pole, it creates an urgency. It creates a ferocity uh, by just having
Hmm.
that tool there. And again, he with his shield, he's knocking the helmet off of 2 people right now, just and smashing them. Um, and they just they can't. These 8 large men
Yeah, they're
can't.
very large. They're not, that's worth pointing out. Like these, like Cap's a big guy.
Yeah,
These guys are big, if not bigger.
yeah. The harsh rules of the new society extend even to its games. Life and limb are expendable. Only winning counts. To those who watch, only the thrill is important. To those who participate, it is the prize which is valued. But now there is one who wants neither to watch nor to play. One of the elite has ordered him to be placed on one of the competing teams, but he wants to battle it out before the derby starts. Let me go. I want no part of your murderous game. Fool, there's a pot of gold waiting for whoever lives to reach it. We'd better collar him before he wrecks this place. Hold him! And we turn the page. He's got the strength of a wild tiger. We can't keep him down. This'll take the fight out of him. Give me one clear shot at this recruit. A gas tank is thrust directly at Captain America. In the next instant, a stab of potent spray engulfs his face in a noxious cloud. Ugh. The gas did the trick. Our pugnacious pal has gone limp as a rag. We can handle him now. The Derby will have to be run without him. He will need this shield, and I could use it in the arena. Lock him in the brig until the Derby's over. As Cap is hauled off to detention, this shield feels indestructible. I doubt if a howitzer could put a dent in it. This just may give me the edge I need to win that pot of gold. Teams alert. The Derby begins in 5 minutes. Meanwhile, Cap is hurled roughly into a small cell. It already holds another occupant who has suffered the same treatment afforded to all dissidents. He'll behave once he cools off in here. The minutes tick by in silence. Then movement slowly returns. And who is it, Bob?
Well, it's Sam, and he's holding his head like maybe he got hit with that as well.
Yeah, he's in his Falcon uniform, the classic red and white one. Ugh, my head feels like it was jammed full of cotton balls. No, it was gas. I was gassed. Falcon? Falcon, is that you? Cap, try sitting up. That's it. Easy, easy. Fine job we've done here. Pushed around by a mob of freaky traitors. We're still alive. That's the important thing. We've got a chance to uncover what we came here to find. The the mad bomb. The sonic mad bomb. And at this point, Cap gets on his feet. You remember what a small one did in New York. It drove the people mad until they wrecked their own district. The mad bomb we're hunting now is the size of an ICBM. If it goes off on the day of this country's bicentennial, as we suspect, it'll destroy the United States. And then this evil bunch will just walk in and take over. Cap, dealing with the effects of the gas, is rubbing his head. Cap, your left hand, it's free. Your shield is gone. They've taken your shield. Great day in the morning. You're right.
I have never heard that turn of phrase, Rick.
No?
No, but I'm going to
Now
start
you
using it.
have.
Yeah, I'm
Now
going to
you
start
have.
using it. Great day in the morning.
But it doesn't sound like he's being sincere. He sounds upset.
Yes, he does.
It seems like it's not the right phrase to use.
Yeah, right. Good point. Yeah.
One of those kill crazy cooks must be using it in the Derby. The loss of his shield is a terrible blow to Cap. He roars in anger. That shield must not become part of a degrading spectacle. This murder sport will make it a symbol of shame. And does. Cap looks wide-eyed and crazed looking as he's so angry.
Yes, he is.
At that moment, the roar of the new society explodes in the arena. Like the bloodthirsty crowds of ancient Rome, these followers of the new creed have laid aside their tasks for the kind of entertainment which flowers the dictatorship rules: deadly combat. And the crowd goes wild, Bob.
Start the Derby. Bring out the teams.
Gold for the winners. Death for the losers.
Let's see the bums die. Show us some action. Here they come. Here they come. The smart money says the Blues will beat the Reds.
The teams emerge on their electric powdered skateboards. Beneath armored suits are men and women, eager and determined to kill for a pot of gold. The mob is really wild tonight. Start rolling. They're yelling for blood. The contestants are halted when they reach the section reserved for the elite, the ruling powers of this hidden kingdom. And who is it, Bob?
It's Sheer Chadwick.
And who is Cheer Chadwick, and how does she look?
She looks like Cher, and she's a young woman, long black hair, with a very exposed forehead, and she is the daughter of one of the elite. I can't remember his first name, Mr. Chadwick, I guess. And so she has taken it upon herself to basically leverage her dad's power to get what she wants in this society.
I demand a delay. 2 players I've sponsored are missing from these teams. They're troublemakers. They refuse to compete. And the guy who's the announcer, who's next to Chadwick, explain yourselves. This young lady represents your betters. I'm Cheer Chadwick. My father's one of the big wheels who control this movement. And if my players aren't produced at once, this derby won't proceed. Hear that, mister? The crowd won't feel kindly about that. I'll contact my team captain. She's checking one of those 2 right now. The player switches on his wrist transmitter and. Tinkerbell. This is number 2. They're canceling the derby, unless you can get those 2 dum-dums to play. And who's Tinkerbell, Bob?
Well, Tinkerbell is obviously the team captain, but she is a very robust woman.
Robust? What does that mean in the world, Bob?
I think we described her on the last episode that we discussed, issue 195, that she's very reminiscent of some of Kirby's women in some of his DC series, Mr. Miracle, for instance, right, and the New Gods. So these very large, buxomy, muscular, girthy women. And in this case, she's wearing the same armored uniform as the rest of the players.
But I don't know if her nether regions are
she's not playing
protected.
Right now. She's not playing right now.
All right,
she's off duty.
The message reaches the cell block. Don't get uptight, number 2. I'll work it out. And then we see Cap's face in the little square window of the cell door. Look here, miss. You've got to release us. We must get out before that derby begins. Talk to Cheer Chadwick. I'm sure she'll help. Some fool out there intends to use my shield in the derby. If you want the shield so badly, you'll have to fight for it. Miss Chadwick has sponsored you 2 in the derby. Why not please her and get your shield back at the same time? Why not, Cap? It's a way out of this blasted cell. If those idiots want to die for a pot of gold, that's their affair. We'll go after your shield and get it back with honor. And he puts his hands on his shoulder. Do you think we can, Falcon? Do you think we can? Yes, because our standards are high, because we're fair and able in battle. And they shake hands. You can certainly make a bleak situation look brighter. Thanks, Falcon. Then Cap's face appears in the little window once again. Hey, okay, we'll do it. I just found this whole little 4 panels comical.
Right, exactly, yeah.
We'll do as you say. We're ready to join your sleazy mayhem circus. Sure, Mr. Pure. I'll fill you in on the rules while you draw your skateboards. Let's go. As the new society pursues its brutal pleasures beneath the Badlands, the arid, sun-scarred surface is scoured for signs of activity. Well, say that 5 times fast. Sun-scarred surface is scoured for signs. Signs that remain undetected. Hound Dog is a hovercraft with a newly developed ground sonar system which penetrates the rocky floor with sound and receives a picture formed by returning echoes. Nothing yet, base. Probe is operating at maximum.
Zing, zing.
I'm receiving lines indicating normal rock strata. If there are any signs of any man made structures below this ground, they're not showing up on this screen. Meanwhile, at an army encampment a few miles to the rear. All reports still negative, General. Shall I recall Hound Dog? Keep his nose to the rocks. With all due respect, sir, Hound Dog's been out there for hours. He could use a rest and some chow. In my opinion, he's simply looking for something that isn't there. Your respect and opinion are small comfort in this game of cat and rat, Captain. I've played it in Germany, Korea, and Vietnam. And now in this empty hot rock corner of the States, I'm playing it again until it pays off. When General Argyle Fist smells a rat, he finds the rat. So, Bob, in
General.
1975,
Yeah.
this guy
Yeah.
was in Germany, which makes me feel like World War II,
Yeah.
Korea, and Vietnam.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
It most certainly is. Yeah,
Wow.
that's
I really didn't give that much thought.
yeah, Lieutenant General. So he's been in 34 years. So yeah, if he was a young enlisted,
Okay.
maybe a young second lieutenant, he certainly could make rank.
Hound dog to base. I've got a bogey. It's big. It's big. At that very moment, the rats are at play, and included in their entertainment are two reluctant players. On with the derby. I've brought out our missing teammates. They look like nervous Nellies to me. Let 'em fend for themselves. Don't worry about us, mister. We can handle what's thrown at us. And Falcon and Cap are also on skateboards. Sure, fella. I've heard those famous last words before. I don't see any sign of the man with the shield, Cap. He's probably on the opposing team. We'll tangle with them soon enough. Meanwhile, concentrate on your skateboard. Its speed can be regulated by pressing these squares with your toe. The team assembles before the elite section, where Cap and the Falcon are greeted by their sponsor, Cheer Chadwick. So, you two have overcome your scruples, eh? I look forward to watching you in action. We're not concerned with amusing your new society. We just plan to survive and cut out. You'll change your attitude about the new society when that pot of gold is within your grasp. Human greed is the keystone of our success. So, Bob,
Checks out.
yeah,
Yeah.
does maybe my opening quote from the
Very
movie,
nice. Yeah.
kind of come full circle there?
It does. It really does.
Yeah. Suddenly, a buzzer sounds. The arena explodes with a roar as the teams surge forward. And how many players do you think are on each team, Bob?
Well, far more than in a standard roller derby teams. So there's probably what a dozen here, maybe
Sure.
a dozen. Yeah, Baker's dozen.
Go and get them. Watch out for surprises. Somewhere behind each team stands a pot of gold. One team must break through the ranks of the other to seize the rich prize. So when I read this originally, I was like, well, if there's a pot of gold behind each team, why don't I just turn around and get that?
Or just let everybody through to your pot of gold and go get the other one. Right?
I like my plan better.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Watch their front, man. Here they come. Brace yourselves for the attack. Ranks close as the teams engage. The lead man of the opposing team crouches low and reveals the tank on his back. He's got a flamethrower. Tinkerbell's hand lashes out. The armored fingertips separate from the glove and blast toward the enemy like missiles.
Woof.
She's trying to hit the gas tank before he can fire his weapon.
Blam!
You got him, Tinkerbell! Flaming chemicals fly in all direction, a fiery trail marking the progress of the racer, who careens into the scattering members of his opposition. Look out! He's become a blazing fireball. This flame will hurt you more than it will me, and that's true. He's on fire, and there's like a whole thing of fire, behind him, and he's just using that against his opponents. He's wearing a fire and heat-proof suit and is using it as a weapon against us. Ha! Didn't like my company? Eluded by Captain America, the flaming racer plunges onward to confront the Falcon, who's still on a skateboard. I can't escape him. You make the perfect target, my fine feathered friend. I'll fry you to a fine crisp. Then you got a surprise coming to you, friend. No sooner did the flames reach the Falcon when he suddenly takes to the air and flies out of harm's way. What? We'll meet again when your fire is out, dimwit. I'm taking the offensive, Cap. Perhaps a air attack will flush out that man who has your shield. Be careful, Falcon. They seem prepared for anything. As the Falcon swoops down upon the oncoming contenders, don't jump the gun, you fool. Wait for my orders. They've got a maverick on their side. Take care of him. His flying gimmick will get him nowhere. Nail him with that cable snare rifle. And what's a cable snare rifle, Bob?
Well, it's a rifle that fires a cable snare.
Okay, you don't have to be a sarcastic person. All right, can you describe it to the people who
Yeah,
aren't
it appears
watching?
it appears to be a metallic net of some sort that can be shot out of a rifle to snare, in this case, a falcon in mid-flight.
The cable snare does its job. The noise of the crowd is deafening as the Falcon is trapped in mid-flight. I warned that recruit. Now he's on his own. Keep going, team. This is our big try for the pot of gold. Steer clear of that rounded bird or you'll trip over him. That bird is my personal business. I've got to help him. Sentiment will kill you in this place, chum, and you're as good as dead. Don't waste precious time on me, Cap. I'll break out of this and catch up with you. Go after your shield. Okay, pal. There's fighting up ahead. This thief may be in the thick of it. And there is a lot of fighting, Bob. How would you describe that?
Oh my gosh! So it's a melee, Rick. Both opposing teams are wrapped up in a brawl, and they're punching each other and wrestling with each other. And Cap is barreling toward them, crouched over on his electric skateboard, like he's a bowling ball heading for a bunch of pins.
Cap hurls himself into the melee, his fists clear a path in the cluster of savage movement. Where is he? Blast him. Where is that shield robber? And he punches a guy in the face. Ah! Get out of my way. You're blocking my vision. Neither team is prepared for the relentless hammering that pounds them without mercy. Let me through. Do you hear me? Let me through. And he's just punching away.
Pow! Bam!
Stop that mayhem machine. He's splitting our ranks.
Wham!
As the opposition melts away before Cap's fierce assault, an armored figure barrels toward him like a missile. We'll give him a target to aim for. Our stand-in. And stand-ins in quotes. I don't know what a stand-in is, fella, but I don't care either. Clear out. And he punches it, and the shock of Cap's blow ignites the stand-in, which is an explosive mannequin primed as a deadly surprise.
Whoa!
And he does. Cap goes flying back. Meanwhile, on the barren wastelands outside, the forces of General Argyle Fist are on the move. This is the spot. Set her down. Hound Dog is nowhere in sight, General. He's vanished. His hoverjet should have left some trace of his passing. Spread out. I want search parties covering every inch of this sector. Turn over every rock, and I mean the small ones, too. Yes, sir. I want our entire strike force moved to this sector. I believe that Hound Dog found the enemy, and he's here. We've got a problem, sir. The element of surprise is still with the hidden opposition. Suddenly, a shout of discovery ricochets among the sun-dried hills. I like that. It's a nice little, uh, gets you kind of, in the moment, like some sort
Yeah,
of echo, right?
right, right.
I found him. I found Hound Dog. He's been dumped behind these rocks. The pilot's missing and the machine's been damaged. There must have been a scrap when the enemy struck. Is the ground sonar equipment still operable? I'm checking it, sir. There's a chance that I can activate it, General. I'll need a little time to run a few tests. You got it, mister. I'll make you a colonel if it can give me an accurate probe of these rocks. The minutes roll by slowly as tension grips the onlookers. If this works out, sir, perhaps we'll finally uncover the whereabouts of all those who disappeared while tracking the invisible enemy. They swallowed our best, and that includes Captain America and the Falcon. I hope they're still alive. Barely alive is closer to the truth, for in the hidden arena, the fighting continues as Cap miraculously survives the explosion which felled him. It is a roaring in his ears that helps to stir his senses. Cap manages to rise to his feet as a propeller driven machine is maneuvered towards the battle line. Yeah, look out! And what is it, Bob?
It is a very large spinning fan of some sort, but presumably that's a cutting blade.
Team retreat. They're aiming to chop us up. And this Cap's in the front, and the people behind him are almost like using him as a shield. And he's getting dangerously close to this blade. I can't dodge it. There's no room to move about. When the whirling blades loom terrifyingly close, a steel bar lances down from above and shatters the propellers.
Bam!
The Falcon appears like an avenging angel. He mows down the opposing force with a borrowed weapon. These dudes can delay me, but they can't stop me. You've got another chance to find your shield. Go to it, Cap. You saved my life, Falcon. I should have known you'd show up when I needed you. Seems like there's no end to this nutty game. What's more, we're tangling with the wrong dudes. You can forget that. I believe our luck's taken turn for the better. Last page. There are some men to whom life is measured by other standards than gold. To Captain America, it is the sight of his shield that quickens the beat of his heart. And we see the man who stole the shield, and he's got it in his left arm, but in his right, he's got some sort of club with protrusions from it, and he's armored up, and he's there waiting. I'm waiting, mister. Make your move. Let's not play any more games with these cretins. Why don't we both just clobber him and take the thing? No, we've had enough of that. He'll listen to reason when he learns we're not competing for the gold. That's my deal, mister. There's nothing I want from you except my shield. If you'll just hand it over, we can go our separate ways without violence. You're wearing your head wrong, chum. What I've got, I keep. Somehow, the Nazi ghost never seems to die within man. It marches with insane pride, respecting nothing, taking everything, and ignoring the pain of others. Cap sighs in resignation. He will have to fight for his shield. And it's a close up of Cap's face. Ha! Here's a sample of what you're in for. And that club that I mentioned before, it
Mm-hmm.
looks like it's firing something at him.
It's discharging something for sure. Yeah. It sounds like a weapon because it goes crack, but it
Then
looks like some sort of energy cloud coming out of it.
then Cap charges. There's no way you can surprise me anymore, chum. Brace yourself for action. Action comes, but in a totally unexpected way. Next issue, read The Rocks Are Burning. Don't miss it.
Oh, I won't. I won't.
What you think of this issue, Bob?
Wow. Very clever. I do love how he has incorporated the rollerballs, visuals into this and the action, but changed it enough, to make it, creative with the electric skateboards and such, and the pot of gold and the teams and the weapons and the armor. It's but I got to tell you, Rick, I had the same complaint last issue. I feel like, and I don't know, I feel like Falcon is sort of in the dominant position, right? So many times,
Yeah.
the
Yeah, because
Falcon,
he tells him in the cell, like Cap is almost despairing, and he's
he's
like, "No,
despondent.
yeah, we'll make this work." And yeah, it seemed a little out of character for Cap.
It does, yeah. I don't know what I know. Kirby hasn't worked on Falcon before until he took the book back over, and he's trying extra hard to like make Falcon like really stand out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and oh, by the way, you mentioned the skateboards. What did you say they were? What?
Electric.
Boogie woogie woogie woogie.
I knew that was coming. I saw
Yeah,
that one a mile away.
I had to do it. I had to do it.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying the story as far as appreciating Jack Kirby. I think he is. I think he's a good storyteller.
he is,
And
yeah.
now, is he in his prime? No, but I feel like he's giving it his all.
Hmm.
Like this was
Yeah,
the character he came back to Marvel for.
yeah,
And he really wanted to work on this, and I feel like he's doing a nice job with the creating. Like, I don't know about you, but throughout this whole story, I felt like I was in a 70s movie.
yeah,
Like, I could hear the crowd, I could hear the sound effects, I could experience the heat from the explosion when the guy catches on fire and he's just
yeah,
still moving forward on his skateboard. It just um I don't know, I really felt it.
yeah. And the other thing is, like, yeah, yeah, okay, right. You're not in his prime, but I will say this is a more sophisticated story than many Cap stories that Kirby contributed to. Right? I mean,
Hmm.
if we had Kirby on as a guest now, which would not be awesome, right? I would love to ask him questions about. I mean, because he's touching on some themes in the Mad Bomb story that are related to society and
Yes,
what's
very much
going
so.
on
Yep.
in the 70s post
Hmm.
Watergate, right? And I would love to be able to ask him about that. And also, he's clearly drawing on his memories of World War II in the 1940s, and
Hmm.
obviously the reference to the Nazi ghost, right? So there's a lot brewing inside of Jack Kirby when he's writing this, and it would be awesome to be able to talk to him about that.
Yeah. Yep, indeed. All right. We're gonna go with the favorite panel. I go first. You went first last
Mm-hmm.
time.
Yeah.
And I'm taking it, man. I'm taking the double page splash because that is definitely
Ooh,
my
all right.
favorite. Definitely my favorite for all the reasons I mentioned when we were going through it in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's just really impressive. And I would love to see the original art, like the black and white version of this, and
Right.
next to each other. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
How about you, Bob? What's your favorite panel?
Well, I'm going to that. I'm going on that last page, Rick. That
Mm-hmm.
close up of Cap's face, not because I think the art is
Mm.
particularly captivating in that panel, but it is the narration, right? That somehow the
Yeah.
Nazi ghost never seems to die with man, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, Kirby in his way is also haunted by his experiences in World War II, and we've talked about this before, how he writes Cap as a guy that is suffering with those demons,
Mm-hmm.
and they're personified in Bucky in many ways, but I think Kirby wrestled with those too, and I think that really comes out in this panel. So it's a special one.
Yeah. Well, first of all, that was going to be my T-shirt, so thanks for stealing that.
Oh my gosh.
But the thing about that panel that stood out to me was taking everything and ignoring the pain of others, and so empathy is I feel like a characteristic of Steve that is we could use more of in today's society.
Hmm.
It's one of the characteristics that's on the what would Cap do challenge coin,
Right.
and we also know after the fact that when we looked at all of the interviews of the Nazi soldiers after World War II and the psychological studies and things like that, the thing that was the most relevant that and prominent that stood out was each one of their lack of empathy.
Yeah.
And because of that, that's when evil happens. So that was something that stood out to me in that particular panel.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I would be remiss if I didn't say, empathy can be trained, right? But it can also be trained away, lost over time. So
Mm.
we all have to make an effort to practice it, right?
What's going on your T-shirt, Bob?
Well, I got to go with that panel right below it, Rick. There's
Okay.
no way you can surprise me anymore, chum. Brace yourself for action.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and yourself?
Well, I'm pivoting.
Pivot.
Yeah, pivot. And I'm going to go with page 7, last panel, and it's at a close up of Cap's face, and he's yelling that shield must not become part of a degrading spectacle. The murder sport will make it a symbol of shame. I just think that'd be kind of funny to have on a
That's
t-shirt.
out of context, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
totally
what?
out of context.
Yeah.
And that expression on Cap's face is not common for you to see
Right. Yeah.
of Captain America.
Yeah. Good choice. Good choice. All
Thank
right.
you.
And how about your time capsule?
Well, I'm going with the theme of the book, which is Kill Derby, and I just think that 100% just speaks to that time. And we went over that in the very beginning with all the different movies, pop culture in the early and mid '70s regarding roller derbies and you know. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the theme. So that's my time
Yeah.
capsule.
I think it really does speak to the times, right? What was going on in society, especially in entertainment at that time. Good, good. Well, I'm gonna leverage off that with the electric skateboard, Rick. And the reason is, do you ever ride an electric skateboard, Rick?
I have not.
I have one.
Do you really?
I do. It's a hand me down. My son had it for a couple of years, and then when he got a bike, he didn't want that anymore, and so Daddy-O grabbed it. I can provide you some video footage of me riding that electric skateboard for the first time when he got it. But the thing is, now they're ubiquitous, right? I mean, like I go on campus, kids are riding electric skateboards all over campus. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
and they're riding fast, like
Oof.
super fast, right?
Helmets.
Helmets sometimes, not always, unfortunately. I
Mm.
always made sure that my son had a helmet had skull and crossbones on it and stuff. But in any case, but here in 1976, when this issue came out, it was the stuff of science fiction.
Mm.
And so at that time, it was still a dream, right? So that electric skateboard represents sort of, again, Kirby like saw it coming, right? And he saw the future and put it in this book.
Same thing with the wrist transmitter,
Right,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we are living in that future now, like right? Like
Right.
we can do if we really wanted to, we could get our phone out or our wrist out, whatever that watch is, and
Yeah. Yep.
use that and talk to people and
Yeah.
yeah,
So
it's
so
crazy.
many technological feats he was prescient about. So, and there we have it, electric skateboard. Now Daddy-O has one.
All right.
I'm not using it, Rick.
No,
I'll
if you're
kill
gonna break a hip.
myself. I'm going to break something. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that happening. All right, Bob. Well, just as a reminder to the listeners, if you know, go to the Facebook page today, if you're listening on the day it comes out, April 8th, at noon Eastern time. And you can vote for your favorite Captain America story because we are kicking off round two, Sweet 16. And have fun with that every single day. Just keep on coming back noon and vote for the next one. And hopefully your favorite story gets to advance. Bob, any final words?
No, Rick, I'm super looking forward to next week. Let's do this all over again.
All right. If you don't mind, folks, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. You know what I'm going to say. If you haven't done it, like, why not? Just do it. If you're on YouTube, just click the like button. It's an easy thing. And same thing, if you're on Apple, give us a 5-star review, right? If you've been waiting for it, now's the time to do it. And we always appreciate your comments, whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, or even more so in our Facebook group where we can interact with you back and forth. Please make sure to do all of that. And for Bob Lucius, I'm Rick Verbanis. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Captain America Comic Book Fans Podcast.